No.
It was a draw. I personally, I watched the fight twice, and I can't remember anything other than that wasn't even a knockdown.
Yeah. But he didn't get deducted a point for that or anything. So.
No. So like I said, it was a draw. It was a draw. Like if you can't remember what happened in the fight, it's a draw.
Yeah. So the question I was going to ask
you can't really remember if this person was really beating this person, because it would just boom, 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 boom.
The rematch play out if they do fight again. Sometimes not a loss, but something like this, a blemish, might get you back.
It can. You know, it's all up to Tank. It's all about how he feels inside, internally. I think, for him, it's a lot to do up here too. Like all of us. But I think that's what you're gonna get from Roach. That's what you're gonna get at Roach every time. I think it's up to Tank to see.
To beat Tank, and then are you expecting him to complete those words and come fight you next?
If he beat Tank, I would love to fight Lamont next. Like if he beat Tank. Like literally, if he beat Tank, it's only one fight to make it a lightweight division.
I definitely felt that.
I truly but that also didn't seem like just Tank in general, and
so is that Lamont and Tank's fault?
And I will tell you this, Tank, I know for a fact, was sparring a 122 pounder, and that was the only person he sparred all camp. Literally all camp that he sparred a 122 pounder.
Was he tall at least?
No, he's shorter than Tank.
Bro.
Or him and Tank same height. Like I said, Tank wasn't really training.
The countdown begins for one of boxing's most anticipated rematches, Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. this August.
People want to discredit Tank, and he's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a off night with Cruz. Everyone has a night. It's boxing.
You want to run that back with Cruz or what?
Maybe down the line.
Which is a fucking tremendous fighter, bruh. He's a really good fighter, man, dude. He beat Hector Garcia, and then he took the belt from him, and he came up, and I know he's a lot more durable and stronger at 135,
He's also seen Tank the most in previous fights before.
Like they already had 2 fights. Right?
Yeah, so
their first clash ended in a controversial majority draw, but this time, both men are coming for closure and possibly legacy. Back in March, most fans expected an easy night for Davis. Roach, the underdog, wasn't supposed to survive the power and pressure of Tank, but what happened shocked the sport.
2 fights? Tank and Roach, they fought twice before in the amateurs.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, they had history and they sparred a good amount of times, apparently, and all that stuff, but...
So you think a rematch, do you think this remotivated Tank? And do you think a rematch, Tank just goes in and wins that fight?
I don't know, bro. We gotta see what like if it was a Tank.
What I seen in the fight, I thought Lamont won, and I think the commission does need to do something with that knee, because if they don't, then all of us are gonna think we could take a knee anytime we want. They got to do something about it. I mean, they did something about me. You got to do something about other people. Rules are rules, right? Right. It's I like Tank though personally, but a rule is a rule. You can't go and take a knee and then just expect not to be a knockdown. You can't get away with stuff like that.
When you say 1 foot in boxing and 1 foot out, it's such a small boxing world that you know what he's really doing?
No, but I mean, from what he said, obviously, I want to retire. Right. His demeanor, it's like he don't really want to box no more. Telling people don't box, kids, you shouldn't box, So it's kind of like he don't really love it no more, You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And that will mess you up, because in a fight, you got to be all the way in. Because when problems, rise in the ring, even if it's a little problem, you got to be ready to snap it in the butt.
Do you think that might light a fire under him, and how does the rematch?
Roach not only held his ground, he arguably outboxed the 3-division champ. Had the 9th round knee been scored as a knockdown, Roach may have walked out with the UBA lightweight title. Davis later blamed the knee on eye irritation.
Man, how do you see it? Do you think it goes either way? Like who's it favoring?
I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older now or what, but I feel like Gervonta is a hell of a fighter, but he needs to get his mental together. When I hear some of his interviews and I see some of the stuff that he's saying, I can just tell that he's not in love with the sport no more. I can tell that he didn't get his just due. I mean, it was crazy to hear that he said he got, I think he would be better, and even a better fighter if he went and did therapy like ASAP. Because I can just tell like he's a little sad, he's a little depressed, even before this fight, you know. So I think it'd be a better fight. I think that Lamont has the mental edge. I think anybody right now would have a mental edge over Tank, because to me he just needs to take some serious time to, like, you know, deal with whatever he's having to deal with. Nobody.
Real quick to Tank and Lamont Roach. Is that the right opponent for Tank?
I don't know why everybody is kind of sleeping on Lamont, but he has a decorated amateur career too. He's a very sturdy kid. He's very skilled. You know, Tank is Tank. You know, and when I say Tank is Tank, I mean like he's a bad man. He can fight. He's tough. I know we had our dispute back and forth, whatever. But at the end of the day, if we talk about just boxing.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
and I look forward to watching that fight.
Is this a pay-per-view fight though? Would you buy it? Are you gonna buy it?
I've bought any fight that Tank has had pay-per-view, and I think that Lamont Roach is worth watching. I think that this fight is going to be very technical, very, very, very skillful, and as always, we're going to see the power of Tank on display.
Absolutely. And Lamont Roach, do you have a relationship with him?
I know him from the amateurs too.
Okay.
Not a punch, but critics aren't buying it. Names like Ryan Garcia, Raleigh Romero, and Shakur Stevenson have all chimed in. Some say Davis underestimated Roach. Others believe his heart just wasn't in it.
Much confidence against Tank is a recipe for disaster. But it's low output, high accuracy. Good body shot there from Tank. There's another body shot from Davis. Straight right down the middle. Always a weapon against the southpaw. Lead left hook by Roach in the jab. Nothing there. There's a chopping right hand. Good punch from Roach. In fact, our unofficial scorer, Larry Hazard.
You know, the Ring Magazine rankings did come out, and we know your accolades. We know what you've done. You know, Keyshawn's made a lot of noise recently, and that's your boy. But what do you think about him being ranked above you?
So what do you think about the rankings?
I mean, if you're asking me personally, Kevin Garcia, I think that you should be ranked #1.
Okay. So
based on your accolades.
The guy at #1 is a guy that just had a draw his last fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, what are we talking about? It ain't really nothing to even talk about. It is what it is.
So what do you think, you know, considering you were one of the handful of people to pick Lamont Roach, giving him a tough fight? What do you see?
I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So
Clarissa Shields voiced concerns too, saying Davis seems mentally drained and in need of therapy more than sparring. Meanwhile, Stevenson, who's trained with Roach, warned that unless Davis shows a whole new level in the rematch...
Yo, you know, I kind of said 154. I probably was stretching it. I'm stretching 154, but I'll fight him at 147. 147, me and Conor could get it in.
Shakur, Johnny Boy Boxing and Fight Hate. If you beat Zepeda, do you feel that that's the toughest test of your career? And they'll give you the credit if you win?
Who knows? It's that process, you know. I think I stopped looking for credit, because at the end of the day, once you get the credit, something else happened, they gonna move on anyway. So the credit really doesn't matter. It just matter how I feel, what I feel after the fight. After I go fight with him, if I perform at the highest level of my expectations, I'm cool with that.
Potential fight this year, how do you see it going?
I ain't gonna really think about that yet, because I'm waiting after he finishes his fight with Roach. Roach is not just your average everyday opponent. Roach is a person who knows Tank, who's been around Tank his whole life. This is a different fight. You can't put Roach to the side like that. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not saying that he's gonna win the fight. I don't know that, but Roach cannot be this underrated like that. You understand? You gotta understand that Roach came from basically the same ecosystem as Tank came from.
Roach could win outright. Even legends like Roy Jones Jr. were caught off guard by Roach's performance. He believes Tank will adjust.
He's a very formidable opponent. So I'm not gonna talk about none of that till we get by Roach, because what I'm telling you about the other stuff don't really mean nothing right now.
Okay, let me ask you this, because this did happen.
I'm feeling good always. How you doing?
I'm always good. You're a special fighter. Tank's a special fighter. What do you like about him? What makes him different?
I like that when Tank come to fight, Tank come to knock you out. Tank don't come to just beat you by decision. He come to take you out. He come to try to get the job done best way he can. And he loves to come there and entertain the fans. He's not there to play around. He's trying to smoke.
And finally, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Gervonta Tank Davis situation. What was your assessment on his fight against Lamont Roach, and what are your thoughts on the knockdown that wasn't called in round 9?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good fight overall. Lamont, I always knew Lamont was, he wasn't coming to lay down. I've been knowing Lamont since we was kids, so we came up in amateurs together. So I knew Lamont was serious. He was coming in there to fight, but he did a lot better than.
But admits Roach's skill and familiarity with Davis could make this a nightmare matchup again. These two go way back. They fought in the amateurs, they've sparred, and they know each other's rhythm. That history matters. It's not just another fight. This is personal. For Tank, a win means staying relevant in a lightweight division full of sharks. For Roach, victory would mean a career-defining moment and the respect he's long deserved. But there's pressure on both sides, and this time, no excuses will fly.
I thought he would, and I thought he won the fight personally. Yeah, the no knockdown, that was like unheard of. It was the first time I've ever seen it with my own two eyes, and yeah.
Yeah, you were, you've made some comments. I wanted to see the backflip, and I'm surprised Tank didn't say nothing back to you about that.
Hey, I was just speaking my opinion on it.
The decision is a majority draw. The decision is a majority draw.
So the question is, can Davis return with fire and focus, or will Roach expose him again and claim what many feel he already earned? Let us know your pick in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a beat in the fight world.